Hi, Christine. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Susie. It's great to be here.
Well, most people investing for long-term goals understand that it's important to stay invested even through periods of market volatility. But most of us also know that it's not so easy to do. As a financial professional who works with clients every day, why do you think it's so hard to ignore market ups and downs?
Well, Susie, you're right. Seeing the markets go up and down can be really hard. I hear from many of my clients that different factors, such as geopolitical affairs or legislative changes, can cause uncertainty and make this bout of volatility feel different. Humans have a hardwired tendency to avoid uncertainty, and we also tend to assume that things will continue the way that they've been going recently versus considering longer-term historical data when making predictions around the future of the markets. This is a cognitive bias known as recency bias. An example of this could be concentrating your investments in areas that have recently done well versus creating a diversified portfolio. Recency bias can be triggered by down markets, since it can feel like the market will inevitably continue going in that direction. That can cause someone to sell out when the market is going down. But as markets have shown, over the long term, stocks have grown through volatility and recessions.
All right, well, that makes sense. But why do market losses feel so painful even when we don't need the money immediately?
That's a great question. What I've found is it's nearly impossible to detach your emotions from your portfolio. This could be your life savings that you've worked so hard for, or this money may represent your ability to do things like retire, travel, or pay for college. It hurts when the market and our portfolios take a hit, and the prospect of being able to do those things becomes jeopardized. Research has demonstrated that the negative feelings associated with losses are twice as powerful compared to the positive feelings we experience when we get equivalent gains. This is another cognitive bias known as loss aversion. This is important to be aware of because it can influence our investment behavior. Loss aversion can lead to panic selling, when investors irrationally sell holdings during volatile market periods, driven by fear of further losses, rather than a reasoned assessment of the underlying asset's value or long-term potential. It can also lead to holding on to losing investments, hoping for a recovery and avoiding accepting the loss. Severe loss aversion can lead to avoiding risk altogether, which may limit growth potential over time and one's ability to keep up with inflation.
Well, it sounds like disciplined investing requires us to push back against our natural tendencies. So how do you and your team help your clients stick to their plan in volatile markets?
Absolutely. Our natural tendencies might encourage us to sit in cash because it's predictable and safe. But that's rarely the best long-term strategy and can cause you to miss out on growth potential in your portfolio. The key to helping my clients stick to their plan in volatile markets is creating that plan ahead of time. The best time to fix the roof is when the sun is shining. This financial plan should be tailored to a client's risk tolerance, time horizon, and overall financial situation. Reflect on behavior in past down markets. What did you do in 2020? Did you sell out and go to cash, or did you hold? The reality is that we will see down markets again, so what can we do today to make it more manageable to get through? Well, first, we can make sure that we have a liquid emergency fund, ready to be tapped for emergency expenses, an unanticipated change in employment, or potentially to be drawn during a recession while you let your portfolio recover. Next, we establish protection in the portfolio. This can include strategies to help weather market volatility or create more guaranteed income to cover essential expenses. Finally, we make sure their growth bucket uses a diversified investment strategy that is in line with their risk tolerance. Using this three-bucket approach of emergency, protection, and growth helps create a balanced portfolio that can help us navigate the inevitable ups and downs of the markets.
All right, so emergency, protection, growth. Let's dig into the growth component a bit more. How do you help clients create a portfolio that offers enough growth potential along with protection?
When developing a portfolio for a client, our goal is to help them find the right balance of protection and growth-oriented investments to help get them to their goals and create an experience that is aligned with their risk tolerance. So the first step is deciding on the proper asset allocation. That's the mix of stocks, bonds, and cash. Once we nail this down, our next objective is to diversify as much as possible so as to not rely too heavily on one part of the market. This might include investing both domestically and internationally and across different industries and companies. We might also use various types of bonds that have different risk-return profiles and tax implications. From there, it's really important to maintain the portfolio through rebalancing and reallocating to ensure that the risk profile that was initially decided on doesn't drift naturally through market movement. For example, a client who initially invests their portfolio in a 60% stock, 40% bond portfolio and sets it and forgets it could have much more stock exposure and therefore more risk as the years go on and the stock market grows. That's why it's important to revisit this and make adjustments throughout the year.
Really helpful examples. So what are some other strategies clients can use to regulate their emotions around investing?
Yeah, as I mentioned, it can be really hard to take the emotion out of investing, but there are a few things that clients can do to help. First, look at your account balances less frequently. Watching those balance swings from day to day can cause unnecessary stress. You can feel more comfortable about taking a step back if you have automatic investments set up to ensure that you're investing in a regular cadence without you having to log in. Second, revisit your plan and find solace in the protection that you do have. Whether that's your emergency fund, life insurance, estate plan, or other parts of protection that you previously built into your portfolio, like guaranteed income or a fixed portion of the portfolio. Third, consider getting help. Many folks don't have the expertise, the time, or the desire to manage all facets of portfolio management. Bringing in professionals to help manage your assets can help you feel more confident that your portfolio is being managed with a disciplined, unemotional approach. I find that many clients avoid mistakes when they have a trusted advisor to call in times of market turbulence.
Well, Christine, this is so much fantastic information. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
If you have questions about your investing strategy, reach out to your Fidelity representative. If you don't have a Fidelity representative, visit fidelity.com/findinadvisor. And for more timely news and thinking from Fidelity's top thought leaders, subscribe to Insights from Fidelity Wealth Management. I'm Susie Allen. Join me again soon.